the past 2 weeks, we've brought you segments on Osceola Middle School's field trip to Kennedy Space Center. Returning to the classroom, those same students apply their imaginations and creativity in a very hands-on way to simulate a successful supply drop on the surface of Mars.
Okay, so what I'm going to pass out to you now is going to be your data sheet. Okay, so this is where you're going to record your initial observations, your modifications, and everything else. So as you see today, we've got our drop zone project. So what we're going to do is today you guys are going to be astronauts and engineers, and you guys are going to design a structure, a space probe, and then that space probe will become a satellite that will orbit, we're going to say Mars in this case. And our mission is we're going to say that we've got a group of scientists on the ground that have actually landed on Mars, and they need more supplies. Okay, so our job is to actually send the supplies to them. But one of the struggles is that you guys can't actually manipulate things. You're going to have to plan your space pod, and that pod is going to have to deliver supplies, and once you set it in motion, it needs to travel all the way without you touching it anymore. It needs to travel all the way and then deliver those supplies in the sand on Mars. Okay, so there's some engineering involved today. You guys will have to kind of calculate some things. There are distance measurements that you want to get. There are some structures that you'll have to build. The materials, you can use all of them, or you can use as few as you need. Of course, the one thing that you really need to use is you got to get the supplies to them. So the marble, it has to be used. The marble needs to get as close as possible. It would be nice if we could land it right in the drop zone in the sand, or we can go with whoever's closest. 3, 2, 1. So you guys will probably need to reduce a little bit of friction.
Yeah.
Okay, so think of the materials you have. What material could you use that's going to slide on this with less resistance?
These students are discovering an important lesson, one that Henry Ford knew well. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. And, just like the Apollo missions, sometimes failing is a part of succeeding. Parent work schedules and school drop-off and pickup times don't always coincide. For the many hard-working parents of Marion County Public School students, that's where the Extended Day program comes in.
There are many benefits to Extended Day. First and foremost is we serve the working parent, and we currently have 3,000 students in our program. We probably touch 400 to 4,500 families a year, either through just enrolling for a short period of time or early release or a drop-in situation. We touch those families, but also it's a great opportunity for students to boost their academic performance through our homework zone or our enrichment activities. It's also a great opportunity to develop their social and emotional skills, and then also it's a safe haven. You know, we don't have latchkey kids. We don't have students that may be participating in what we would consider maybe risky behavior in the afternoon or being tempted to participate in that risky behavior. And so they're in that safe, nurturing environment in the afternoon. The parents need to know first what type of care they might need, like if they need just AM care, or if they're going to need just PM care, or if they're going to need both. Once you make the decision, if it's just AM care, that is $20 a week. If you do PM care, it is $40 a week. If you do both programs, it's $50. And there's a $25 non-refundable registration fee. So once they make that decision and know their need, then they would go to the school in which their student is enrolled, and they would meet with what we call our site manager, and they're usually located in the cafeteria. We open at 6:30 in the morning, and the students are in that program until the school bell rings, and then we're open in the afternoon when the school bell rings to 6 o'clock in the evening.
Every school year we start out with new families moving in, some moving out. So we wait for the school to give us the new list of families they feel are the most needy in that school. We make up brand new bags for that school. We put letters on the bags that represent the family and how many students are in that family. Then we have volunteers lined up. They take the bags out to the school. They leave them there until Friday afternoon when the children come, take them home, and use the food over the weekend, because we found out that a lot of children have very little food at home. and when they come back to school they're very hungry, and it's hard to learn when you're hungry.
Interfaith's weekend backpack program is very necessary. We see sometimes a behavioral difference in students when they come home or come back to school from the weekend because they didn't eat over the weekend, and they eat 2 or 3 breakfasts in the morning. They'll take food from other students. Sometimes they try to sneak food out of the cafeteria. So our goal is to get as many families the backpack program so that the children are not coming to school hungry and are ready to learn.
We started with 2 schools and 50 kids, and now we're in 35 schools and over 1,600 kids.
It is an amazing program partnership with Interfaith, and they have 20 backpacks here at Evergreen for families that are in need. The only thing they've ever asked of us is that we have students sign a thank you card for the volunteers and staff that help to fill the backpacks.
One per kid. Yep.
We have a lot of good volunteers. We couldn't do without them. Without this food that gives them some nourishment over the weekend, they wouldn't be doing as well in school as they would otherwise. So, and I know we've got letters from the schools and teachers saying that very thing, that without this food, the kids would not be able to learn as well as they do.
When the kids are called to the guidance office, they are here within a minute to come get the bags because they're very excited that they're going to have something to eat on the weekends. And it gives us great pleasure to know that they're going to be okay on the weekends, because we want them to be okay and happy when they come back on Monday after the weekend, to know that they're going to have nourishment. And we show that we care. They know that we do. They appreciate it. They all do.
All of us here at Marion County Public Schools thank you for your compassion and generosity.
IC3 stands for Internet and Computing Core Certification, and in 2014, the legislature passed Senate Bill 850, stating, "The legislature intends that by July 1st, 2018, on an annual basis, at least 75% of public middle grade students earn at least one CAPE digital tool certificate."
The industry certification test, in our case, we are giving what's called the IC3. It is a test designed to measure what a person knows about computer literacy. We are giving it in our middle school classes. We started last year, as you said, and we're continuing it this year. The test covers 3 basic areas. One area is on online living, and it addresses questions about email and communications and safety, social media, that sort of thing. One section is on computer fundamentals, which covers hardware, software, operating systems. And the final section is on essential applications, and that covers the use of Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And so the students take 3 separate tests. If they pass all 3 tests, then the organization deems them IC3 certified, and they receive a certificate. And that's a certificate that's recognized industry-wide. So anywhere they go and show that, it's a third-party verification of their knowledge. It is setting them up for continuing evaluations and coursework at the high school level. In the high school level, they take the MOS certification test. That's the Microsoft Office Specialist, where they're getting more specific about a test simply on Microsoft Word, and they get certified in Word, for example. This is more of just a general literacy test, so it's exposing them to the process of certification. It's preparing them for continued work at that level in the high schools. We find that, for example, the Living Online test, we really don't need to do much instruction. Students each year have more and more familiarity with the Living Online. The computer applications, again, they're coming to us each year more and more prepared because they've had Microsoft Word or PowerPoint in the elementary schools. With my more advanced students, my 9th grade credit class, they grouse about it because it's a test. They don't like that, but they are just full of themselves when they pass it. They are so proud when they pass it because they know it's third party. It's not Miss Harold saying you've done well. It's the industry saying you've done well.
Friday, Marion County Teacher of the Year Diego Fuentes found out he is one of the 5 finalists for State Teacher of the Year.
It was absolutely insane. I mean, I don't know what better word to use for it. It was so very surprising, exciting, almost a little nerve-wracking. You know, it was great though. It was great, and I think I thought about afterwards when I was, you know, what I said. There's just so much adrenaline. So I'm accountable for 80% of what I said. So it was super exciting, and it was, and I knew what all like the other. I saw many of the other teachers were in Florida. I was floored. There's some amazing teachers, and the thought that I'm there at the top finalist or whatever is just mind-blowing to me, and it's incredibly humbling, actually.
The Hillcrest music teacher was presented with a check for $5,000 and a $500 gift card. Hillcrest received a check for $1,000. The State Teacher of the Year will be announced July 13th.